And we're live.
Yay! Happy
Hey.
everyone! Welcome, welcome! I am Candace of the Temple of Frolic. We have been going live for almost over 2 years now. We stream live all over Facebook, on YouTube, and I want to send some extra gratitude to Love Coach Academy. If you guys don't know who Love Coach Academy is, you want to check them out. They have a lot of amazing shows, including Saturday Night Live, where they feature amazing conscious people from all over the world. And now, sponsored by Jay Mayer of Light Touch, which you'll probably be seeing more of here, there's an after show and an after party. So you definitely want to go check that out. And today, here on our show, things are a little wonky. We had a plan, but I always tell people a part of my plan is the no plan plan, because things don't always go as planned, and so you got to plan for that too. And we kind of didn't have the capacity to do that, so here we are. But I have some amazing people here with me. I have Curious Anarchist. Unfortunately, we're still having some struggles. That's that voice. When you hear
Yeah.
that voice, that's Curious Anarchist, but his camera isn't working right now, unfortunately. You did see him on our last show, though, and you definitely want to check out his podcast, his social media, Clubhouse. You can see all the links and the info to that in our write-up here. And we were going to have Paulina, the author of what's the exact title of the book? Do you remember?
Lay bare.
Yeah, and basically, what did the businessman learn from the stripper?
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's having some technical difficulties, so we don't have her here right now. But who knows? She may pop in, all right? But our theme for today is play and dance. So we're still going to drop into talking about that. We'd love to hear from you. Please do click like, share this out. You can also save it and interact with us. We have a mystery Eeyore in the background who is helping us, which I'm really thankful for. And you may hear from Eeyore at some point too during our show.
Thank you,
And I'm blind, but the two of them will be the eyes on the comments for you. So please do say hi. Let us know what's up in the life for you. How do you play? How do you dance? What are the benefits of that? What have you found within the power of play and dance? Or what are your questions about it? I've used it, I think, my entire life. And definitely my business, the Temple of Frolic, and with my clients and in my session work and on my events, in my personal life, it's really big for me. So with that, I'm going to pass it on over to Curious Anarchist. Yeah, let us know about yourself and what brings you here. And then if you do want to share, feel free to pop in or pass it back to me.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much for that amazing and
Candace,
wonderful.
you look amazing.
Oh, wow,
Sorry.
she's here. It's Paulina.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was just having some problems finding the right link. But Candace,
No worries.
you have just blown my mind. You look amazing.
I
So
was tired of saying burlesque. I was listening to burlesque music as I was putting myself together and really thinking about you and what we're bringing alive today with this outfit. And of course,
I love it. You should have seen me. So yesterday was my book launch party at a strip club. And I was wearing a corset with like peacock feathers sticking out of it at the back. So I had this crown of peacock feathers around me, and this massive skirt with peacock feathers attached to it as well. So I was really.
Have any pictures that you can show us?
Of course I do. I've got them on my phone. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna have lots of pictures.
So yeah, guys, this is Paulina that we've been talking about.
Right.
So why don't you introduce yourself?
Please,
lovely people. It's such an honor to be here in such great company. And I am, well, I wear quite a few hats because I am an entrepreneur. I'm an investor in startups, and I'm also a massive, massive fan of conscious sexuality and tantric practices. I have been studying Tantra for a while. I have been a burlesque stripper for a while as well. So I've lived a bit of a double life as a businesswoman during the day and burlesque at night. I am also very active within tantric, polyamorous, and kinky communities. So super, super excited to be here today.
Awesome. So pleased that Paulina is here with us. To be fair, Candace, you did ask me to kind of just like talk about myself, but I think you pretty much did all of that in the build up to it. So that's great. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And, you know, guys, and since you missed that, any links, you know, to your social media and stuff, put it like Paulina, you could put anything you want to put out there right now. Put it in the comments here.
I'm going to put the link to my book. I'm like, it's really easy
to go. And your social media, whatever, and to our viewers, you can see in the write-up and in the comments, definitely link up with these peeps. And yes, curious, continue.
Fantastic. Thank you. So I'm going to put in the comments. Yes, it's lovely to have you all here. So yeah, it's an interesting time in my life right now because I've written my first book, which is about my burlesque adventures in burlesque and in business. So very, very unconventional, part business book, part memoir. And I would be super, super keen to kind of hear your thoughts on the book and have you read it. So I'm going to post a link on here. Hope that's okay.
And when is it due out?
Allowing me to do this. So it's the ebook is out already. The paperback is available for pre-orders and out on January 31st.
Okay. So yeah, I've ordered a paperback. That's why.
Oh bless! I was hoping you would be at the party yesterday, Curious, but I know that you were busy, so no worries.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good to, and thank you for being here. We know that you had your party, and then I take it you had to crack on with the rest of your
pleasure. Yeah, so I woke up like I didn't drink much at all. Like I had maybe 2 sips of wine, so I wasn't like hungover or anything. Okay. But it emotionally took a lot out of me, I have to say, because I really cared about it being a great event, about there being enough people, about the performers being great. I had burlesque and pole dancing performers, and I just woke up so flat today. But now I'm better. I had a good meal. I'm better, so I'm ready for this.
Awesome,
I'm ready for this.
Awesome.
This is the link.
So let me just like ask a question about like your book and the launch party that you've just had. Like, what was organizing that like? How involved, like directly involved? Did you have a team? Like how did that setup work?
Yeah, so when it comes to the overall kind of book promotional campaign, I'm lucky enough to have a team. So I'm working with an agency that's owned by a close friend, actually, who inspired me to write the book in the first place. Okay. So it seemed like the right fit for them to be helping. But when it comes to the event, yeah, that was something that I did on my own initiative. So promoting it, getting the performers together, making sure we had a nice venue. So we had this like beautiful strip club in East London, and it has a private room which is set up like a beach. So there is a few centimeters of sand on the floor, and there's this Hawaiian tiki bar and a massive like glitzy rolling ball hanging from the ceiling, and swings. It's really, really cool in there. So it was just the perfect place to do it.
Oh my God, I so appreciate you explaining that, because even if you put out images or videos, I can't see it.
So it's like,
I'm getting, because this is how I get to experience you. And so I so value this time with you. It's like, you really embody so much of how I see myself. You know what I mean? I have a strong businesswoman in me, but I'm also wicked, and I'm wicked like into like play and sex and dance and art, and I feel like they weave together so beautifully, and I think that's the intention of the book, you know.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna post for Curious and others if I can. No, I can't. I was just trying to post a photo of me in my ridiculous costume, but maybe that's gonna come later. But I'm glad that you can imagine it.
on the topic, like we kind of in our write-up, we put it out there as a baseline. We're talking about the power of play and dance. So, what would you say some of the key components of how you play and with your dance that you find the most power, or you've given, like for yourself, or those you've danced for or worked with?
Very interesting and not a straightforward question. I would say I'm definitely in my flow and in my power when I am performing on stage, and I feel like this, I'm like a channel of energy that's kind of rushing in from somewhere else and entering me and coming out on the other side. So I feel like a doorway sometimes. It feels like I'm a channel for energy that is not mine, and everything seems perfect in that moment. And those have been some of the most stunning moments in my life, just feeling like that doorway and emitting that light or that energy and seeing how it impacts people, and obviously receiving the beautiful energy that comes back from the audience as well. So that's absolutely stunning. And I think that can be experienced, although for me personally, it's more difficult in business settings where you are really in your element and when you really feel like you are doing business in a way that comes from the heart and is really very well aligned and is really, to do with your values. You can feel like that, like in that state of flow as well. I have on occasion. Yeah. So I would say those are the moments that are so worth living for. Yeah. For me.
I'm so reminded of moments when I've danced and I've been a recipient of it too. And like I remember exactly what you're saying. And there's certain times I felt it most. Like I have this event I do, Frolic Theater. And that's what I love. I would love to drop in and hear more about the power of play in burlesque. We're not just talking about dance, like like it's an intellectual. It is so deep. It is mind fuckery. It is art and emotional movement. And so I create these interactive theater experiences in person where people get to interact. We set the stage, we do a show, and then people get to interact. And then I compare that totally conscious setting, no medicine, no alcohol allowed, nothing, to I attempted to dance in our traditional, where I live, what's available here. I want to do private parties because I'm blind. I can't navigate a strip club.
Of course.
And so all the dancers, all the drivers were on drugs. And it was so hard. But I'll never forget one time we went, it was so fun. We did so many fun, wild things. But we went to this room and it was this dude, it was like a big biker bar thing. And there were like 60 something dudes and they were celebrating this really, really old guy's birthday. And it's on me and one other woman. She was petrified. I was so delighted. And I gave that old man the time of his life.
I can believe you.
I love it.
I can believe you. Yeah, absolutely.
And no sexual interaction. We're not talking about intercourse, oral sex, genitals. There was no genital involvement here.
Absolutely. Just energy play, right? And just connecting energetically with that person. Yeah. So yesterday we had that's kind of that energy exchange is the most stunning thing, I think, that chemistry that you can feel between beings. And you can feel that in business, you can feel that in bed, you can feel that when you're performing, when you're public speaking. But it's one of the most stunning things you can experience and share with another being or a whole set of beings.
Paulina.
Yes.
The way that you describe like feelings and emotions is just so like for me, I just feel like I'm just sat here listening to you, just in awe.
Oh, bless you. We still haven't met. We absolutely have to meet. I can't believe we're in the same city.
We live in the same city. I know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, where does that come from? Because I'm thinking, okay, you're an entrepreneur, you're an author, you're a businesswoman, you're this, you're that. Like, you're so many things. It's like, how do you keep it all together?
Yes, so there are, definitely multiple aspects to my personality or identity. I think underneath it all, I'm probably just an artist. But then again, I think everybody is. I think we're deeply creative, juicy beings. Underneath it all the masks, all the roles that we play in business, in personal life, we're just wild, divine children and creatives. So I keep it together because, and how do I keep it together?
What is together is what I want. I can't just
exactly.
What is this together thing
Like,
we're talking about?
how do you keep it to get like how do you manage to do it all at the same time? You know what I
I
mean?
guess I couldn't do it in any other way, I think I would die. And at some point in my life, before I started doing burlesque, actually, I felt super depleted because I kind of took on this identity of a business person, and I was in my head most of the time, and I felt so dry and tired, and yet depleted is the word. And that's when I felt, okay, if I don't do something ridiculously fun, juicy, rebellious, provocative ASAP, I will die. Like, this is not me. This is not how I want to live. And that's when I discovered burlesque. And I just popped into a club at one point. I saw a fragment of a burlesque show rehearsal, and I was like, I'm going to do this. I don't know how one becomes a showgirl, but I'm going to find out, and I'm going to do this.
Wow.
And I did. So the answer is I just couldn't do it in any other way, because I think that we're most powerful at the intersection of where different aspects of our identity actually meet and interplay and dance together.
Wow. Thank you. Burlesque as a rebellion. I love it.
It has been. And then, polyamory came, and Tantra, and there's been quite a few like sort of rebellions against conventionality and just the monotony of like so-called normal life. I couldn't do normal life.
Yeah, it makes me think, like, so how many people are stressed out and depleted because they're trying to keep it together and not just doing whatever they fucking want.
Absolutely. So that's the reason why I'm so outspoken about this and my journey. And yesterday I gave a little talk about polyamory at my event, not because I'm a exhibitionist, but because I'm hoping that it can show some people that it's possible to not keep it together anymore and be happy.
Nasty!
I love it.
Oh.
So
I want to check in also with our Eeyore back there. I don't know if
Eeyore wants the comments. There have been a few comments sort of flashing up on the screen.
Yeah.
Please keep them on the screen. And if you are watching, please comment, interact with us. If you have any questions for Paulina, please go ahead and fire away. We're here talking about her new book. Oh, exciting! About her journey.
I've got it right here. Here it is. So, Can Dance for You. So obviously the title is Laid Bare What the Business Leader Learned from the Stripper. And on the cover you have, so there is like a graph which kind of represents business performance. And on top of it is like a pair of legs in like sky-high red heels. So it's like this kind of businessy aspect with this kind of like juicy aspect combined. So this is what it looks like, folks. Yay! Oh,
like all this, it's like, I'm just so grateful and honored. Yeah.
I'm honored that you are still like happy to chat with me and talk about my book. You guys are great. I want
to do more with you. I want to come to this damn club you're talking about. We don't got stuff like that.
Yeah, in East London, so it's not too far away. I will be there very soon.
I might do
I've been
another event
to-
there. Actually, the staff were beautiful and so lovely. So I would not be surprised if I decide to run another event there at some point, because it really exceeded my expectations. They were
How
beautifully
did you
helpful.
find that? Why did you pick that venue?
So again, the kind of flow of the universe. So I didn't pick it. I was chatting away with my friend and personal trainer, and I was just saying to her, I'm going to do something interesting for my launch party. I really don't want a regular thing. It's so boring. People don't attend these anymore. I'm not quite sure where it's going to be and what it's going to look like. And she's like, you know what? I used to date this guy who owns a few venues in Shoreditch, and one of them is this place called Metropolis Strip Club. Would you like me to talk to him? And I'm like, yes. So it aligned. And then a couple of my friends said, oh, we've been like learning pole dancing for a couple of years. Maybe we could perform. And I was like, yes, please. Like things like
Wow.
literally came together. It was beautiful. And I think things always do when you're really in flow and in alignment with kind of the best path. Universe supports you. It does.
Definitely.
So what are people saying out there? And does Eeyore have anything to say?
Rahul is saying my sexual...
Eeyore is our background technical person. He's also a dear friend of mine that's helped us get this show running today.
Hi, Eeyore.
Hi, I've just been hiding in the background here. A few thoughts did occur to me.
Okay, yeah. So we got
if you can describe a little bit what the business person did learn from the stripper and what I would sort of find in your book. Sort of give me the teaser of the back cover, since I can't actually see what would be on there. The other question that occurred to me is, what does Tantra mean to you? It means so many different things to different people, and I would love to hear your interpretation.
Yeah, I love that question, because it can and does mean so many things. So let me start with the first one. What did the business leader actually learn from the stripper? It learned the integration of the masculine and feminine parts of my leadership. So I used to be, as I said before, super in my head, in my logical brain when I started out in business, really driven, really ambitious, really competitive, like a go-getter, which can and is a good thing, but can really mislead you as long as it's not grounded and combined with a feminine leadership aspect, which is much more about heart-centeredness and values and embodiment and intuition and surrender and being in the moment, as opposed to always driving your agenda. So that's one of the most significant things that the business leader learned from the stripper, that kind of juicy feminine leadership piece that I was missing. So I'm talking about kind of yin and yang energies, as opposed to anything gender related, really. There's this countless examples. So, for example, as an entrepreneur, you need to be comfortable in standing from the crowd and being seen. And as a burlesque stripper, hey ho, you're going to show your naked ass to an audience of sometimes hundreds. So that's another thing that I've learned, to be comfortable in being seen and standing out. I learned to be more comfortable in being vulnerable. So I might sometimes perform on a day which is not a best day, or I'm on my period, or whatever is happening, but I've got a show booked and I'm going to go there and give my best.
Wow.
I
just to kind of interject there, because I'm recognizing that I hadn't even thought of that. Oh my gosh, like it may well be that time of the month and you'll still be dancing.
The blessed moon, yes, exactly. So, and emotionally, ups and lows, of both entrepreneurial life and the life of a performer. I think really being seen and being on stages helps you find ways to be with your more vulnerable parts and be seen even in your vulnerability and in your weakness. So that piece also got transformed for me. I became more attuned to my body, a better listener. So the way I would kind of lead in the workplace, and we don't really manage people in my company, but like the way I led people kind of started to change as well. And it was a beginning of a massive transformation, because after kind of getting in touch with my sensuality in my body through burlesque, I got interested in Tantra. Then I explored my bisexuality, which I discovered in my early 30s. And then my husband and I decided to open our relationship, which was a really big step for us, and a super exciting journey, and very, very rich in terms of self-discovery as well. So burlesque was kind of a seed that started it all, I think, when I look back.
Wow. And thank you for sharing that as well, because it's the resonancy with the vulnerability there, which you just commented on, sharing your personal story of like how your relationship changed, and sort of adapted, I think, your growth, for both
Absolutely.
of your benefit. Just to kind of, for anybody that's maybe just kind of coming into the experience or understanding of what polyamory might be, can you just kind of clarify, like,
absolutely. And then I just remembered I need to talk about what I mean when I say Tantra and what it means to me.
Yes, I want to make sure we're checking in with the people. We never got to the comments. There might be some comments. Are there?
I'm looking forward to a great show. Somebody said that their sexual energy is always high, which is fantastic. Good for you. Mine kind of is up and down. And I don't think we've got any other. Yes. Well, bless you. I should probably learn your secrets then, because mine is kind of like, I'm quite feminine when it comes to my sexual energy and energy in general. It goes through cycles, actually, and I have times when I'm super excited and active sexually, and I have times when I'm not, and I'm focused on other areas of my life.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. It's really helpful that you guys are engaging us. Like, this is a powerful conversation, and so please do comment. It helps the algorithms. You can like it, you can share it out. It's so appreciated, and we love hearing from you.
So polyamory, for those of you who haven't really experienced that way of relating, it's a new paradigm, really. So when I was growing up, and even for the first kind of 7-8 years of my relationship with my husband, I really didn't feel that there was another way of relating, or that I was even interested in exploring different ways of being with people, romantically, sexually, etc. And that kind of monogamist view was very deeply ingrained with me. I grew up in a monogamous Catholic family, and I was a virgin until 24, and I really believed that, I should choose that one person and then expect that they will satisfy all of my needs and desires, and then at some point, I think it came after I started studying Tantra and going to interesting tantric events, where I just felt that my sexual and life force in general was like starting to really blossom, and I felt attracted to men, women. I just wanted to interact with people, explore the juiciness of different connections, and my husband and I began feeling into it, like whether that was something that we were prepared to explore, and we decided that we were. And I discovered a whole different paradigm of relating, really, which is what polyamory is to me. There are, again, I really recommend a book called Ethical Slut, which is, a very important book in the polyamorous communities. There are many different ways of non-monogamous relating. You can be in an open relationship where you've got your core or anchor partnership, and then you're kind of seeing other people. You can be in kind of fully polyamorous relationship where all relationships are equally important to you. You can have primary, secondary partner. There's like many different ways in which this can work. But importantly, just presents a really interesting, refreshing alternative I wish more people knew about and were prepared to explore, because we see so many kind of apparently monogamous couples, but actually, lots of affairs, betrayals, broken hearts, because people are not kind of maybe willing to explore and acknowledge that we are deeply curious beings that are wired to explore, sexually, romantically, and monogamy is not necessarily, definitely not for everyone, the best way of relating.
Yeah, I love this conversation, and for me, I got away from even saying polyamory because it's got same with the word tantra. There's so many understandings of it. Like, I define myself as I practice conscious ethical non-monogamy.
Beautiful.
It feels good to me, and there are a ton of other books, but I don't want to go too much off our path into the rabbit hole of non-monogamy. I'd love to come back to play and dance. And what I'm wondering, maybe because there's a lot of things I do, and I do with my clients, right? And I do professionally, and I do it because I love it. I don't do anything for money I don't enjoy. I learned a long time ago. Like, I do not, that just doesn't work for me. So even in the sex industry, that applies too, right? And so, but in our personal life, and in our professional life, I feel like it's still like being able to play with people I'm working with, or if I can't play, if there's no play energy, my vagina's not interested. Dance, if someone can't dance, I might be a little bit more open, but at least let me dance on you, as far as like sexual partners, romantic relationships. And I've had some amazing dance partners that we do not relate off the dance floor. Like, that's just, we only dance, and then, like, I have to be able to have play and dance in my relationships. And in business relationships, I think it really helps sustain things to be able to play and dance together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's that being able to be children together, being able to descend down into the depths of creativity and playfulness that we're all born with. We just somehow stray away from as we grow up. I think if we can't access that, the juiciness is gone. And you're right, it's probably not sustainable as a relationship if you can't be silly together.
So play, like, how does play show up in your work life and in your family and in your relationship, and relationships? How does it like arise for you?
So there's this component of me which is like loves playing on the edge. So this rebelliousness, which is very, very much playful for me. So being provocative, like either intellectually provocative or physically, why not? Kind of challenging stereotypes or what's politically correct or socially acceptable. I've always been into kind of playing it, cutting it fine, and just like really exploring, like what can I get away with here?
I know what you mean.
So, organizing a book launch in a strip club is, kind of edgy. And I love that edginess. Like, that keeps me alive. That keeps me on my toes. That keeps me really in my power and in my flow. So that would be one of the ways. Another one my husband and I can be really silly together, like completely, and we like call each other stupid. You're stupid, and like it's a compliment in our language because you're stupid. It's more like you dare. You are like silly in the best way. I have the recent addition to my life is a couple of kittens, and they are really introducing a lot of playfulness into my life, and they're just amazing and hilarious and annoying, obviously, as well. But I love them. I'm actually stroking one of them called Whiskey as I speak. I have her like sleeping on the side in her puffy bed, and yeah, it's just they're just pure joy and fun little animals in general. I think just love joy and playfulness, nothing but that. Yeah, and a lot of poops to clean up, but that's another matter.
And it just reminds me at one of my first, I've done a lot of events, but like a play party, which basically means there is sexual activity involved.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to have 2 cats, and one of my cats just went and hid, and then another cat was all up in the party. One time I had a black light room with paint and everything. The morning after, my cat was walking around and had paint all over it. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, cats are just amazing. Yeah. So
Cats are
and
really
I love
interesting,
selecting like
because of like the history of cats and the sensuality of cats, I guess, is kind of what I'm tapping into there. Is there a character that you take on when you put on your burlesque dress, or when you go into that playful mode, or even is it a thing where you even go into it? Is it just a part of you that it's just there? Like, what's that? What is that for you?
It's something that you tap into. It's definitely an aspect of me. I have a stage name, which is Murita, which just came to me. Apparently it's translates to little black girl. It just came to me in one of my meditations, and I was like, okay, this is going to be the one. When I am here, I can be a variety of different characters, actually. So I've been this like hilarious operatic diva who discovers a furry animal hidden underneath her corset. I've been a murderess. I've been a desperate housewife. I've been a female superhero. So it's just so playful. There is few art forms, I think, that are as playful as burlesque, because it's an amazing chance to be self-ironic, to really poke fun at yourself and at the audience. It's a little bit like, I'd say, related to clowning almost, because you need to have that self-ironic touch to be a really good performer. I mean, at least in my books.
It reminds me, around here we have a team called the Slaughterhouse Sweethearts. They're very
I love it.
Yeah, very gothic burlesque team. And I went to one of their shows. They did like a burlesque. They had Spider-Man, Chucky. Oh my God, this person does this amazing Chucky. It was all horror film. It was like a horror film burlesque show. And 'tis the season. Right now they do the Slut Cracker for the whole month of December. It's a big burlesque thing here in Boston called the Slut Cracker. And I dated the Christmas penis.
You dated the Christmas penis.
Okay.
Love it. I want to date the Christmas penis myself now. I'm jealous. What was it like?
Oh, we didn't work out so well. No, he's
shit, man.
I went, I mean, the fact that he was the Christmas penis and the Slut Cracker was like fun to play with, but we didn't really connect. It was just fun.
Okay. Well, at least you had some good times, and that counts for something as well.
Yes. What time is it? So I know where we're at.
It's 39 past the hour. So I know it's different time for you and for us.
So we got 20 more minutes. Still here, guys?
That's right. We're still here.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
We just had a comment from Janet about the sound. Don't worry. I'll mute when I'm not speaking.
Yes, no.
Yeah. So in regards to like the book, so once you've got the ebook is out now, is it a hardback? Is there a hardback as well?
Not at the moment. There may be later. I mean, I'm definitely I'm definitely introducing an audiobook, which is going to be interesting for you,
Ooh.
Candace, and those of us who love Audible. I've recorded my book myself, so I'm just kind of waiting for it to be uploaded to the right systems by my team and to be released. But that's definitely going to be available soon.
Yay!
So
Oh my God, I want to have you because we're going to be doing events virtually and involving dance and stuff. So I so
nice.
look forward and want to do more with you. And for those of you watching, definitely join my mailing list on my website. Make sure you're following us on all social media, including Clubhouse. We do a lot on Clubhouse. If you're not on there yet, you want to get there. That's how I met these amazing people right here, you guys. What were you gonna say, Curious? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to ask a question about the book again. I wanted to know, like, how did you put that together? Like all of those experiences, all of the different, like the levels of understanding, like the messages, the motives and the moods that you even would suggest in the book. Like how did you put that together to put into a book? What was that process?
The process. So at the beginning, I just felt like a massive rush of creativity and flow. So I kind of wrote out what I thought was going to be the first draft in 3 months. And then I hired a professional editor and we started discussing what the so-called spine of the book would be and what would be the core themes and who the book was for and who would read it and why. And then I started editing and re-editing, and that was quite a difficult process actually, and frustrating at times. Because I started like throwing some things out and adding little bits and kind of forming, okay, who am I really addressing here? Why would they care? Why would they dedicate the precious time to this book? So it's been a process of kind of like both kind of following your inspiration and being massively playful and creative, but also bringing in the masculine element at some point, the logic, the organization, the structure, combine both again. So the play of masculine and feminine, I think it's everywhere in the universe. The rigid structure and the playfulness and flowiness and surrender to what wants to be revealed for you.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
I love it. I can imagine, I could see as you explaining that, like the dance of writing a book, essentially, so you're explaining there, that dance you did with yourself and your team. And it sounds so awesome. Yeah, I love that. There are more people highlighting, and that's what I'm trying to do with this Creating Safe Space for the Sex Industry series, is highlighting the benefits and the professionalism and what the sex industry has offered, some of the good stuff, as much as we are going to hold space for some of the other stuff, but we hear that all the time. We hear that bullshit all the time. I want to talk more about, like, look at this amazing shit that is coming from the industry, Yeah. People would.
I would love to do more stuff with you, Candace. I think you seriously rock and you make some waves in this community, and I definitely want to do more stuff with both of you, actually.
Yeah. Because the sex industry, some people may not see this, but we're playing with sexual energy. The sex industry isn't always, we're not just referring to people that are escorts or people that engage in intercourse or oral or physical stuff. The sex industry is much bigger than that. There's a lot of education, a lot of intelligence, a lot of magic and healing and play and fun. Yep.
So I want to kind of go back to that moment where you rushed in. You said that there was a lot going on in your life at the time, and you felt this desire to just change everything. I guess this is, if you know anything about astrology, this is like Pluto energy, change and transformation. Like what was it that literally said, you know what, I've had enough, like that is it now, I'm not going back from this point? And had you actually walk into the burlesque venue?
Yeah, so it was just the feeling that the most precious part of me was dying, and that unless I stop it and I do something radical to stop it, I'm just becoming this dry person I don't even necessarily like or want to hang out with.
Who were you in that moment?
I think it was that feminine part of me, or the inner child of me, kind of weeping and doing its best to get my attention. So I guess I was a bit of, I guess I was at that time united with that part, because they say that moments of crisis or change are where our soul really speaks to us or shouts out to us. So I think in a way that's what was happening. And it was interesting because I was like on my way to a business meeting again, and it was in London Piccadilly Circus. I remember that day like yesterday, even though it was many years ago now. And I just felt so tired and depleted and sad, like deeply, deeply sad. And I just walked past that place called Café de Paris, which is an amazing cabaret venue. And I just decided to like take a peek in, and I had no idea why I was doing it or like what even led me there. But it just felt like I'm doing this, whatever. And it was a guidance from somewhere else, I guess. A response to that outcry of my soul.
So now when like you've been through this whole many successions and returns, if you like, what is your sense of who you are now?
It's almost like who I am now is a continuous transition. It's almost like there's no single or particular sense of like, this is the solid identity that I have and I don't stray from. It's like I am the river, the process of changing and evolving and shifting from one energy to the other. So yeah, there's this awareness that like everything is changing, and with that, you know, the awareness that each moment is precious because it's only here once. And who I am in this moment may be different to who I will be in another, but obviously there are like some foundation stones of my identity, and one of them is definitely that playfulness or rebelliousness. Like, I think that's just with me, like for life. That's me. And there is a sense of, I guess you can talk about integrity. I don't even like to talk about integrity because that's just so cheesy, and everybody kind of says integrity on their company values poster and whatever. But there's this at least like longing for things to be fair and to be done right, you know? So there is this and wanting to contribute to things being done right in the world. So there is that. There is a spiritual aspect of me, which is also quite important to me, which is also here to stay.
Yeah, because you said that you grew up in was it Catholicism?
In Catholic family, and I actually still, you know, believe me or not, like even though I've had so many tantric and shamanic adventures, I still go to church. I think religion is fundamentally a beautiful thing, which is very often misunderstood by people because it's done a lot of wrong things over the course of history. Definitely the institution of religion, but it's also quite beautiful. It's essentially like, you know, I look at it like shamanism. It's like a collection of people getting together to perform rituals because it feels right, and it feels like they can connect with something beyond themselves when they do it. Like that's what religion is to me, and that's why I engage with it. And my spirituality is very, very obviously different and richer than it used to be. So it encompasses all sorts of things. And I have so much appreciation for people who are spiritual and religious in all sorts of ways. I just find it tremendously interesting, people that are ready to explore that part of themselves and consciously do. Yeah.
And we're probably close. So there's a few things I want to make sure I speak into before we close. And I definitely would love to do a round of shares and do a last check in on what's going on out there. And you just want to put in your mind, anything you forgot to tell people about that's going on, you want to put out there. Definitely, we are going to be leaking up and doing some virtual events with you. And I really look forward to that. Please do, to our viewers out there, get on Clubhouse. Make sure you're following myself and Curious Anarchist, and Paulina's on there as well. And you could find Eeyore a spotted newt if you so desire. But we do kind of we have some scheduled rooms, some pop-up rooms, and the way the algorithms are set, if you don't go directly into our profile and make sure you're setting the notifications to always be notified when we're on stage, you may not know we're doing a room. And I'm doing a lot of private secret events because we're talking about some really deep stuff. And especially with creating safe space for the sex industry series, we're going to have coaching, and that's going to be private. We're going to have some private events. I'm going to be bringing Frolic Theater alive again. And I'm looking for some live demos. I need some people here that are willing to play with me on camera and put on a show and get paid. So get in touch if you're interested.
Amen.
We thought as much. Awesome. Yeah. So just for myself, Curious Anarchist, check out the podcast Curious Anarchy. It's available on Spotify, Apple, all of those good stuffs, and outlets. And yeah, I'm kind of coming into, I'm not really coming into, I'm kind of coming back to Tantra. I'm revisiting it again, in another form, in a more mature sense, I like to think. And I still love to play, and that is my ultimate thing. Whatever I'm doing in life, I want to be able to play. And for me, Paulina, you truly embody that sense of, okay, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other, but I'm still playing. Everything is an expression of who I am. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the time that you spent with us as well, especially having the launch party last night.
Yeah. No, it was an absolute pleasure. It was actually really refreshing and kind of juicy and enriching to have this conversation. So thank you. Absolutely loved it. For me, I obviously the launch party happened yesterday, but there's lots of events I'm being involved in. Some of them businessy, some of them more juicy and connected to either sexuality or Tantra or all sorts of things. So if you'd like to hear about them, just subscribe to my list. That's paulinatenner.com/list. Easy.
There you go. I was wondering, what is your website? Perfect. And Spotted Newt Eeyore, our transformational Oz from behind the scenes. Thank you so much for making this happen. And I want to send some love to Karezza for helping us and acknowledge the lack of her presence here. And we miss her. And
Big kisses.
and go Spotted. Eeyore, Spotted, Newt.
I think that was Paulina.
Oh, I didn't know if he had anything he wanted to say in a closing
Oh,
statement.
okay.
No? Okay.
Do you want to come on, Eeyore? Maybe not.
That's fine. All right. So to all of our viewers, thank you so much for being here too. please do click like, share this out on your social media, and you can join us on Clubhouse. It sounds like we're going to be doing an event on Sunday, and yeah, next Friday we'll be here 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you would like to be a guest on our show, you have an idea, you feel like you can be fun and frolicky, then we want you here. If you have a voice or something you'd like to share as to your experience and your involvement with the sex industry, publicly or anonymously, you can reach out on the back end, and we'd be happy to give a voice to your story anonymously as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yay, that was a pleasure, guys. Really, really, really loved it. Look forward to Global Orgasm Day as well, which is coming up quite soon on the 22nd
Yes,
of December. I'll be hosting a room with the lovely Lucia about using sexual energy in business, and there'll be plenty of other interesting rooms, fascinating content. Which room I think people should follow in order to get notified about this event? Was it Tantric Awakening?
I was not informed. Somebody did not clue me in on this Orgasm Day thing. So I'm imagining it's Tantric Awakening. But that's the thing. That's why I'm telling people, please follow me. I do stuff in Tantric Awakening, but there's a lot of back end stuff going on. So just make sure you're following me as an individual, because I don't have a club, and I'm only included so much with what they're doing. Yeah.
Hey, awesome. Yeah, so Paulina, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much to you as well.
And Candace, thank you as well for kind of, bringing me into this circle, this experience to sit with, I'm technically laying down at the moment, laying down with Paulina and yourself.
Oh, kinky. I love it. Yeah. Why not?
I'm looking forward to meeting you and seeing.
Yeah, let's have a nice playful date, shall we?
Yeah, definitely.
We could go somewhere fun. We could go to a strip club. Like, why have a coffee if we could go to I don't know, let's go to some kind of peep show venue or something silly like that. I would love that. Something unconventional.
Because I used to work for a company that dealt with adult magazines, and we held. Do you know The Look of Love? Is it The Look of Love? The film with Steve Coogan and Anna Friel. It's about what's his name?
I don't think I've seen it, but I think I've heard about it.
Paul Raymond Wax.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to work for the company that did those.
Nice.
So yeah, I've been around it a fair bit. Yeah, so it's really, really interesting. And it's a completely different world, I guess, for many. But yeah, sure, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Perfect. Let's make it happen in January.
But it's okay. I'm glad
we'll call you in telepathically and spiritually. We'll call you in, Candace.
Yeah, if there's any squelchy noises, you better call me. I want to hear it.
Yeah. We'll send you sexy noises on voicemail.
Yeah.
It's such a pleasure. And so it's probably about that time. So thank you to all of our viewers. Thank you to Love Coach Academy for hosting us. Over 2 years now we've been doing this. I think every Friday I've only missed maybe 2 or 3 Fridays. So love you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for helping us keep doing what we do. And Eeyore, can you close this out? And then can somebody verbally tell the blind girl when we're done so I could pick my nose?
No worries. But thank you also very much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. Mwah. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you next time.
I gotta take off my clothes, okay?